So I just wanted to share a testimony with you this morning. For the past month, we have been holding a small Bible study in our home. We've been doing the Book of James, and I've been asking God what He wanted us to study next. And He kept putting the story of Joseph in my mind, and I didn't understand at first why, but then I realized it's because I've been holding unforgiveness towards somebody that I thought I forgave. A few years back, I had received a book. It's called You'll Get Through This by Max Lucado. It's an awesome book. He basically helps you get through the difficult times, and he uses Joseph's story as a way to do that. And it also talks about forgiveness in the book. Awesome. But anyways, I like to ask, God to give me confirmation and to make sure that I'm doing what He wants me to do. So I prayed about it in the morning, and not soon after I get in the car and I'm driving to work, and I turn Caleb on. So the DJ talks about how a caller had called in like a few years ago, and he replayed the story. And the story goes like this. There was a man, he was in a service, and while in the service, he found out that his wife had cheated on him. So when he had come home, they decided they wanted to work on a marriage. He has said that he took responsibility for his part, as far as like he felt like maybe he could have been more loving, or cared for her more, been a better husband. Not that excuses at all for her cheating ever. But anyways, he ended up going to Bible study. He joined a Bible study group. And when he joined the Bible study group, who comes into that room? What but the man that his wife had an affair with? So he ended up going to a store and buying this man a Bible. And I don't know why that story struck me so much, but it did. And so he ended up, giving the Bible. He's like, I'm not friends with the guy at all, But he said he felt like the chains of unforgiveness came off. And I just sat there in awe. Because I don't know. It's just crazy of how God works. So anyways, also to backtrack my story, earlier in the morning, I came across the story about Jonah, which is so funny because that story just keeps coming up. And if you're not familiar with the story of Jonah, he's the one that got swallowed by a big whale because he didn't want to go to Nineveh where God kept commanding him to go. But here's the part of that story. The reason why he didn't want to go to Nineveh is he knew that God was forgiving, and he did not want the people of Nineveh to receive God's grace. If he knew that if those people repented, God would forgive them, and he didn't want that. And I think about that because this person has hurt me so deeply. And to be honest, yeah, I will be honest. I don't, it's awful to say, but yeah, part of me didn't want him to receive God's mercy. But who am I to not extend that? I don't know. But anyways, long story short, I go to work and I go to, tell my coworker, like, you're never gonna believe this. And I told the whole story about how that I turned on Caleb, this story comes on, and we started talking. And what she said next blew my mind. She all of a sudden mentions the story of Jonah. I'm like, stop it right now. It was like the second that she mentioned the story of Jonah, I could just feel like this, I don't know. I just felt like this weight came off of me. I'm just not even mad at the person anymore. I know it's so crazy. Like I'm just not. Like I forgive them, I give them to God, and I'm just gonna keep praying that God will do work in their life. But I just love how God does that. It just proves over and over again He is who He says He is. And I just don't understand how people can ever call these things coincidences, because it's not. It's Him speaking to us.